So far, I haven't seen anything standing out to me as to why there'd be so many people coming back here. It's like a piece of paradise right here. Which may be right there through the trees. Oh, I see a culvert as well.
Going through.
Okay, we have to change course. Yep, we're gonna have to make our own path through here, and some pretty deep snow as well. Well, down I went. Honest to God, I don't know what the heck happened. I just screwed things up majorly. I don't know. It's a cold winter day here in Pennsylvania, and I'm making a video that's not typical from the others because this is not historical. I don't have a specific destination in mind. But what I do have is a sense of curiosity to satisfy, because back where I started, there's a road, and anytime I've ever driven the road, especially in the warmer months, there's been a lot of cars parked there and people walking where I'm walking today. And it makes me wonder, for what reason? Why are they coming back here? I did look on Google Satellite, and I know there's a reservoir back here and remnants of an old railroad. Now, those are not my primary focus today. If we do stumble upon those, we'll talk a bit about them, but I want to find out why people are coming back here. Is it simply just to go fishing at the reservoir, or is there something else back here that I'm not aware of? Hopefully we're going to find that out. If you'd like to see what I may or may not find today, all you need to do is come along with me. That water is coming from the reservoir that we're heading towards. And we're walking a trail. I'm definitely not the first person to be back here since the snowfall. There's a lot of footprints. So like I said, people come back here all different times of the year. But warmer months, it's not uncommon to see 6 to 8 cars parked along the road. It's also a balmy 25 degrees out. Little to no wind, which is great. And for the most part, sunny skies. I feel like a walking traffic cone. Really bright orange. Now, I do have some information regarding the reservoir, because even though that's not our primary focus, I know we're going to be walking to it to see what it's like. So I do have some stats I'll be able to share with you about it. And also, we are higher in elevation too. Air is slightly thinner here. Ears are blocking on the way up here. And walking through the snow, definitely a little bit more challenging than walking on bare ground. So there are times where I'm gonna be a little bit winded, catching my breath a little bit. I am slightly out of shape from over the summer. That's to be expected in the colder months, but I am out here putting in a few miles today. I know it's roughly just under a mile from where we started to the reservoir, and we decided to go looking for the old railroad. I think it's about a half mile from there. So altogether we'd be putting in maybe 3-4 miles, 5 at the most, but we'll see how the day goes. But gotta keep moving so we can actually get there. I just realized too, even if we do venture over to the old railroad, it wouldn't really be feasible. Walking on about 4 or 5 inches of snow, it's going to be completely buried. As far as I know, there's no rails left, but I think the rail bed is still visible. And there used to be a bridge back here called the High Bridge. So we may walk to the rail bed, share a few details, but definitely won't be investigating an abandoned rail line because, well, you can see why. Noticing a blue arrow on the tree there. And up ahead, some more blue markings. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a blue trailblaze or if it's markings for something else. We are climbing uphill too, climbing a slow grade, I should say a slight grade. I guess that would be a trailblaze. Really big uprooted tree right here. So as you're passing by, just watch your head. Low clearance. Well, hopefully you ducked under and didn't bump your head. That'd be a hard hit. Although it's moving, I do see a few areas that are starting to freeze up. It's about 5 degrees colder up here than it is in the valley. In the valley, I believe it's going to be over 32 degrees today, above freezing. Here, it'll stay under. I'm glad it's not windy, because even the little bit of breeze I'm feeling walking definitely has a chill in the air. Aside from giving you some highlights along the way, making pretty good progress. Don't hear anything at all except the crunching of the snow and the flowing water to my left. Looks like a trail diverging off this way. You could see it up there. You do see footprints. It's climbing upwards, but as far as I know, we don't want to go that direction. The other thing that I typically don't like about this time of year is what I'm doing now. Hiking, exploring in cold weather. And although I have layers on, I'm dressed appropriately, wearing the backpack creates a hot spot, so to speak, on your back. Even though it's a breathable material, with 3 layers and the backpack against it, my back gets really warm, almost on the verge of sweating, which is typically not good when it's cold outside like this. So sometimes I have to take an arm off, let it hang off, or just stop and take a break, kind of cool off, because the rest of me feels perfectly fine, but my back definitely gets warm. And we may or may not be running out of trail up here. Hopefully we don't have to do any water crossings. I've done that last year in the cold, and it's not a pleasant experience by any means. Look at the rock feature here. It's like individual chunks, all placed together, almost like Jenga blocks. Most likely you could probably, yeah, they're loose at a touch. It's like Legos or Jenga. So things changed a little bit here, not terribly, but not great since it's snow covered. So we're forced to drop down a little bit, walk on some snow covered rocks, past this little siding here, and continue on. So typically you could maybe walk the sideline here and then jump down up ahead, but not going to risk anything being by myself with snow covered rocks and potential holes or pockets. So I'll safely get across this, give you some views of flowing water, and we'll continue on. Got to watch where I'm walking. It could be a frozen layer. I don't want to drop down into it. It's like a piece of paradise right here. I think we're approaching the reservoir. I do see a clearing off to the left. It looks like the stream splits in different directions, and all this water, as I mentioned, is coming from the reservoir. So I like to get over there. And it is an active reservoir, so we're not going to be going directly on it. But I'd like to at least show you like the spillway, which may be right there through the trees. Oh, I see a culvert as well. Yeah, big spillway. Hopefully I can give you a better view, but it's directly over there. There's a big squared off culvert I see through the trees over there. So that's the direction we just came from, and we now curve off to the left of the direction we were heading. And I should get a better view of the big dam wall. Yeah, there it is. It's like a big snowy slope. See some markers up there too. And like I said, there is a culvert over there and a structure that looks like it's tagged up. But there's water between here and there. So I'm hoping we could find a way over there. Maybe possible, maybe not. I'm definitely not going through the water. I'm not getting my feet wet. But I am curious about that area over there. Hoping to find like a narrow stretch of the river with some rocks to cross over. May not be doable though. So far I haven't seen anything standing out to me as to why there'd be so many people coming back here. The only thing that comes to mind right now, first off, is that I don't even know, I don't think fishing's even allowed at the reservoir. So I think that nixes that idea, especially since it's active. I'm thinking people are probably coming back here to fish along the stream. If I'm not mistaken, this is labeled as Springbrook. People definitely have been over there. Like I said, there's a structure tagged up by the culvert. So far, that's calling my name, is giving me the most interest of this area. I don't think we're going to be able to physically get up close to the reservoir. Not only is it a far away steep ascent, but it is active, so I'm sure it's posted. Well, I'm going to scout around here, see if I can make heads or tails as to what this landscape is like. The trail that we were following keeps going off to our right, up in that direction, I think heading, if I'm not mistaken, towards the old railroad. You know what? Before we press ahead, I do have some facts I can tell you about this reservoir. And even if we don't get to see it, at least you'll know a little bit about it. So let me pull up my phone and share what I can. So the reservoir over there is named the Watres Reservoir. It says it was built primarily for water supply and power generation. It says land was acquired in 1913, but due to numerous delays, construction didn't start until 1924 and was completed around 1925/1926. And the individual who is named after, his name is Colonel Lewis A. Watres. He was a lawyer and businessman in Scranton. And he was also involved in the creation of Lake Wallenpaupack, which is near Holly. So he was involved with that, and also, obviously, with this one here. And it spans holding capacity roughly of 164 acres. I do have some information on the railroad as well. I want to first see if we can actually get near it. I don't have any service here, but I did bring my GPS unit, so I do have coordinates that could take us to at least the right-of-way, or row, if you want to call it, of the rail line, which I believe is about a half mile from this location. The trail itself may be going there, it may not be. We'll find that out. But first thing first, let me see if I could cross the river, the stream here, check out that culvert and structure, and then we'll see where our next plan of attack is going to be from there. Well, I do have some waterproof Timberlands on, and I found an area here that's relatively shallow. I think we can cross here. Yeah, I'm not going to film with this camera. I think I'm going to bring out Plan B, get you some footage of me crossing this, because it's a good chance I could slip and fall, and this camera is not by any means rugged or waterproof. All right, fingers crossed I don't slip and fall. If I do, you guys will be able to see it. Okay. Got a little dicey there for a second. The rocks were teetering. Outer of my boots is wet, my feet are dry. Got a small crossing here, and we should be able to have good access to the culvert. So let me get back to my other camera. The one thing I can tell you is I'm not the first person to be here recently. I actually followed footsteps crossing the creek there, and the footsteps continue in front of me. These are not my tracks. So someone has been here recently, not sure if it was today or just a day or two ago, but someone had the same idea to cross over here. And here's a decent look at part of the reservoir area. Looks like maybe an older spillway. It's really rocky and jagged. It's not concrete like you would traditionally see. So I don't know if that was a spillway at one time. Looks like water does flow down here occasionally, but the main slope that we saw is over in that direction. So we are in kind of like a riverbed right now. So we want to climb out of here and head straight over there. Well, I can tell you, walking through all that was not pleasant. It's a little prickly forest. But we made some ground, and here we are. We do have a decent sized culvert and a little teal colored structure right there above to the left of it. There's water flowing through the culvert, and I'm guessing it leads into the reservoir because it's coming underneath the big spillway / dam wall. And that's probably like a little pump or valve house. They may use this culvert chamber to lower the reservoir water for any inspections or repairs. That's the best I could come up with. I do want to get closer to it, at least peer inside, but I don't think we're going to be venturing inside today, but we'll get a closer look at that area. All right, plan B, we have a wrench thrown in the plans because as I came over here to get closer, there are 2 no trespassing signs, private property. So we're gonna respect those, especially since I'm on camera. It'd be kind of foolish to go blatantly past those to an active reservoir that is posted. So this is as close as we're gonna get. Obviously people have been over there, probably in warmer months when the tracks aren't leading right to it and not on camera either. But that does definitely draw my attention about that drainage system. I'm guessing, like I said, without any certainty, that it does go right in to the reservoir, and there may be a gate or something over there to allow water flow, almost like a pipe system. Instead of a pipe system, it's a box culvert. Actually, thinking of it now, making this video December 2025, this reservoir is just about 100 years old, give or take a few months. So that culvert may be as old as the reservoir. Maybe it was added after. Really can't tell, but I just remember that. We're just about a 1 century anniversary of this reservoir here. So that's kind of cool to think about that. We're here nearly 100 years after its completion. If those signs weren't here, I definitely would have pressed ahead, got right next to it, showed you inside. But again, it's not worth me taking the risk of getting in trouble and ruining my adventures for the future. So we're going to turn around here and figure out what our next plan of action is going to be. We're crossing this dried up stream bed for now, and it's giving us one more view up towards the reservoir. Showed you this earlier from farther back. Pretty neat too with the blue sky. It's a nice contrast. There's even a barrier I just walked by too, which I didn't see originally, so I think we made the right call to turn around. I'm gonna get back on land over here, see if we can find the other trail, and then I'm gonna pull out my GPS device, see if I could use that to take us to part of the old railroad. Since we're out here, might as well make the most of it. Wasn't really able to show you the reservoir like I wanted to. Google Earth, Google Satellites is the best I could do, so we'll just have to improvise and continue on in a different direction. And sometimes that's what's necessary. And a lot of times those plan B, last second wrenches thrown in the plans ends up yielding some interesting results. So things happen for a reason. Just have to go with it. So I do have my GPS device pulled up. I have the coordinates. It's showing we're 3,200 feet away, so a little bit over half a mile, not too far away at all. Hopefully there's a trail leading to it. Now I do know the area I mentioned called High Bridge. There is a parking area there. You can actually drive to it, but the road is not maintained, obviously, with these conditions. So you can drive to the old bridge area, and I believe the right of way would have been on the other side of the bridge span, which is no longer there, but you could walk the old rail line. I have seen a website of a local who has documented it back in 2006. So what I want to do though is at least get to where that starting point is on the other side of the bridge, just to see that, hey, we're actually on the old rail bed. Maybe walk it for a few hundred yards, and I'll share a few details and information about it, because maybe we'll return in the future to document it, maybe not. I have a lot on my plate for 2026. I don't want to overload it. Most likely I won't get through everything I have this year already. So it just kind of overlaps year after year. Beautiful section of forest here. Really big, tall pines. Oh, it's like we got to cross again. And that's the direction we have to go too. There's a bunch of little tributaries down here. Do I want to press my luck again? Water is slightly deeper here. We've already covered about 200 feet. For some reason, the screen doesn't show up well on camera, but we're heading towards it now, going southwest, 3,050 feet to go. I don't know what to do here. I don't want to backtrack to where I crossed earlier. All right, I'll figure it out. I'll be back in a moment. Yep, that's not gonna work. All right, we'll try plan C, I guess. Things went from bad to worse. Snow is considerably deeper here. It's about a foot deep. And I don't have a crossing. I don't know what to do. I can either backtrack roughly 50, 75 yards and cross over again, or I could continue upstream and try to find something that could be just a shot in the dark, because there's no guarantee I'm gonna be able to cross. So I think I'm gonna go somewhere back down close to where I crossed originally. I do see some down trees. Maybe I could use those as guidance. And I just need to cross over this, as far as I know, and continue right over in that direction. I'm on a little island right now. The water's deeper over here. We got some snow-covered branches and roots here and limbs. I'm hoping to use those without stepping through. I think it's a buildup of ice. Oh, falling through. Not good. Okay, broke through, but I think I'm okay. Okay, I made it. Whew. I got dicey there for a moment. I thought for a second I was gonna be over my boots in water. Let's hope that's the worst of it. Now we can get back to covering some ground, because now I'm off course from having to backtrack for this. And we're back here at the old trail. So there's two different trails I could take. I'll pull up the GPS and see which way we have to go. I did get off course a couple hundred feet having to backtrack, but now we're back to right around 3,054 feet heading this direction. But I had to stop here just to show you this, because with the sun showing through, the patches of snow on it, and the green nature's carpet just makes for a spectacular shot. So I have to give you a couple close-ups of this and include a photo of this in the photo montage. Man, this deep snow's a workout. If I had snowshoes, it'd be different. So, we're making progress though. 2,830 feet. Closing in. There's no direct path here. I'm basically making my own path through the woods, following a faint game trail that something ran through here. Well, look what I found. I always seem to come across these. Either old campsites or just someone coming to hang out. Got a snow-covered camping chair and a fire ring. Looks like they haven't been here for a while. I don't know if there's any more things underneath the snow. I'm not going to worry about that, but almost every adventure recently, I come across that same setup. All right, this is a bit better. We're on a road now. This was the one that veered off by where we crossed the water. So we branched off for that culvert. But if we kept going, following it, it would have led us here. So this is showing we're heading straight towards it roughly. Just over 2,500 feet to go. Can you make out what was on there? I can't, if you could. We need to find out. This trail and footprints heading down there. As far as I know, we don't need to go that direction, but there's red blazes, orange, looks like surveyor's tape. And let's double check where we have to go. Yeah, 2,100 feet, continuing this direction. I'm gonna have to speed this up. I'm not gonna make any more pit stops unless I find something, and once we're under 1,000 feet, because I don't wanna be walking out here at night. The sun's gonna go over the mountain in, I think, just around 2 hours. So, although it's bright out with the snow, temperatures are gonna drop even more. And I'm not prepared for an overnight stay, so let me keep trudging ahead, following these same footprints that someone else has kind of created for me as well. Making good progress. We are under 2 football fields away, 595 feet. Along the way, I did pass a bunch of red blazes and the orange tape hanging from branches. I went through a bit of a clearing, almost looked like a wetlands area, but someone's been here recently. There's fresh footprints here, maybe even today, heading towards our direction. So we may or may not encounter someone, but we are really close now. Should be there in a matter of minutes. Okay, we have to change course. So according to this, hopefully you can see it, maybe not. We're losing progress though. Showing we need to hang a right because we're not gaining any more ground. We're at 584 feet. The road continues this way, but where we have to go is showing this direction. So let's see if we keep trudging through. Yep, now we're closing in 564 feet, 58 feet. Okay. Yep, we're going to have to make our own path through here, and some pretty deep snow as well. But at this point, can't turn back now. We're too close to give up. Not liking what I'm seeing. Not only is it pretty dense back here, but straight ahead of us there's a huge hill, or even like a small mountain just going straight upwards. We're 360 feet away. I'm hoping it's not on top of there. If this is indeed, though, the point where it crossed over the high bridge, well, there's a good likelihood that could be the case. And the way we're getting to it is the most challenging way possible because I really don't want to climb a mountain just to find a snow-covered rail bed. Oh, yeah, this is difficult to navigate here. I'm losing faith. Those of you who know me know that I don't give up without a fight. I'm not giving up yet. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can, preferably to have my 2 feet standing on it, to say, hey, we reached it. We know this existed. I could share a few details and call it a successful adventure. But that may or may not happen. Wow, look at that massive uprooted tree there. Could almost take shelter by it. It's up over my head. All right, enough jabbering. 317 feet away. Let me try to find this. This is my final push to reach this old rail line back here. Well, down I went off camera, tripped over a tree root. Well, we're closer, but we're not there yet. 203 feet away. It's like everything's telling me, just give up. It's not worth it. It's the Polish and German in me. I can't. For only 200 footsteps away, we got to make it there. Talk about frustration. I literally spent the last 10 minutes after my fall almost walking in circles because when I was going the way the GPS told me, it was taking me off track. So I started going the direction it told me to. It'd close in, take me off track. I'm within 4.5 feet of the GPS coordinates. And these coordinates are verified in both Google Maps and Google Earth because this rail line is marked on those maps. And I had direct coordinates. There's nothing here resembling a rail bed at all. This is such thick forest. The only thing I can think of, which I mentioned earlier, is ahead of me, behind you guys, there is a really steep embankment. It goes up over a couple hundred feet, it looks like. The rail line may have went overhead here. I don't know where the bridge was. I know it was out here. We may be inadvertently under the rails if they were on the bridge. And the rail bed itself could be up there. If that's the case, I'm throwing in the towel. From what I saw on the person's website, there was a clear defined rail bed. It was clearly visible, like no denying it at all. Almost like the trail we were walking on, but as far as I know, that wasn't it. And also as far as I know, actually I have service here, holy crap. Let me pull up GPS on the maps and see what the heck's going on, because something isn't adding up. It's showing with my GPS turned on my phone that I am, how far away am I? 2.8 miles away. What the heck happened? Honest to God, I don't know what the heck happened. I'm over 2 miles away. That'll explain why I don't see anything. Either the GPS is off my phone. I mean, I do have 3 bars of service here, but I had direct coordinates, which I verified from 2 sources, had them punched in here, and it's showing we're a few feet away. So either coordinates are incorrect, which they shouldn't be, because I cross-verified it, or the GPS is off my phone, or I just screwed things up majorly. I don't know. I'm out here pretty remotely though. According to my position on my phone, I'm out here pretty good. I'm not near anything. The only thing I could do now is backtrack the way I came, and walking my footprints is like walking a zigzag pattern because I was walking in circles trying to find this rail bed. And I knew, my gut instinct was like, there's nothing out here. Like, what are you looking for? But I was determined. I didn't give up, but things did not math up together, if that even makes sense. So with that being said, the only thing I can tell you right now is what I was looking for. I could give you some details on that. And maybe or maybe not in the future, we will come back and try to locate it in warmer months and try to plan things a little bit better. I mean, I just don't know where things could have went wrong. But this is a railroad though that I have covered before in different areas. Earlier this year, I actually did a video on old bridge abutments along Route 502, and that was for the Laurel line. They brought us right by the airport, and we found a bridge abutment going across Lower Moosic there, and that was another large bridge, and that was for this same railroad. So the railroad that was here was the Wilkes-Barre and Eastern Railroads, labeled as WB&E, operated in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania from 1892 to 1939. Now on the Rail Guide app, when I pulled up screenshots prior to coming here, you could go through the different settings, and it does show up as WB&E and also NYS&W, New York, Susquehanna, and Western. That's because the WB&E was built as an extension of the NYS&W. It was fully controlled by them to serve their strategic need for coal transport. It says that the purpose was to bypass competitors like the DL&W and bring anthracite coal directly from Northeast Pennsylvania to the NYS&W's New Jersey docks. So that is what is out here. That's why it was built, but we definitely didn't get on the grounds of it. This is like a rarity for me. I'm usually not able to get so far off track like this, where I'm usually pretty good with not only sense of direction, but following coordinates as well. And the fact that this is a GPS device with satellites, like even if I didn't have phone service, this is still getting satellite service. It's showing I'm under 10 feet away. So all I could chalk up is user error. I either punched in the wrong coordinates, or the GPS on my phone is not reading correctly because we are in a rather remote area. That's the only thing I can really think of. So with that being said, I need to navigate out of here. I have less than 2 hours before the sun goes down. And like I said, I don't want to get stuck out here. I'm actually cold now that I'm just standing here. Snow's so deep, it's gone up over my boots, so my feet are a little bit chilled right now. So I need to get the blood flow going. So I'm going to make some significant progress on my way back and see you somewhere closer to where we started. And I'll share my final thoughts there. Hopefully I don't fall anymore and don't encounter anything negative, but I'm ready to get out of here. I've had about enough. Well, the sun is going down behind the mountain, and we're back to an area I showed you before. I stopped here because, well, I noticed something right here. This is the area where I was showing you what I call the Jenga section of rocks, where they're really loose and just pieced together. Well, what I failed to see was right next to it here, graffiti. There's a pink or purple monster or creature and some initials and carvings here. So this place is frequented by locals or regulars. So I wanted to point out that signs of man are clearly evident back here. There's even more over here too. I am back for the most part safe and sound. The reservoir is right over there, not too terribly far. So I have less than a mile trek back to my vehicle. Feeling a bit sore, my leg is sore, feeling a bit defeated as well. As far as the soreness goes, well, it's basically due to the environment here. We did climb an elevation. We went over rocks and boulders and limbs and roots, and most of it was covered in 6 to 12 inches of snow. So that's a workout in itself. When you add the snow on top of it, it's an even greater workout. So I definitely burned a lot of calories today. Got a much needed workout in, and going home feeling a bit tired and a little bit defeated. Leg is just sore from just what I'm doing today, and also didn't help that I fell on this side as well. Nothing broken, nothing severe, just soreness with this cold weather as well. As to what happened today, I've been racking my brain the whole entire way back wondering what went wrong. And I honestly can't figure heads or tails of it. If anyone is wondering if I'm using this incorrectly, I'm not, because I have used this on 2 previous videos which already came out, and the coordinates I punched in, this brought me right to the locations. So the only thing I could think of is the coordinates were incorrect, but I can't imagine they're off by over 2 miles, or the GPS on my phone is off. And maybe we were actually underneath the rail line. Like I said, it could have been going overhead in that particular spot. I really don't know. I'm not going to have the answer to that today as to what went wrong, but this typically doesn't happen, because most of my videos, I usually say, you know what, that definitely didn't disappoint. That was a pleasant surprise, better than expected. Not this case. This was, I could say, worse than expected. This was just a downright miserable outcome. Did I satisfy my sense of curiosity? I did. We were able to reach the reservoir, which wasn't a goal, but I knew I wanted to come by it since the path led to it. couldn't get to the culvert. It was posted. But why are people coming back here? I think it's a combination of fishing in the creek here and probably hiking back here, recreational use. This is a blue blaze trail. Back there where we came from was a red blaze. So I think that's the only two reasons people are coming back here regularly, especially in the summertime. Do I want to come back to try to locate that right of way? I'm torn on that. Part of me is saying, you know what, it's not even worth it, Jay. You covered enough abandoned rail lines. You have more to cover in the future. It's okay if you don't do that one. The other part of me is saying, you didn't accomplish your goal. You need to go back and finish it. So time will tell what's going to happen. I do know if I do come back, I'm going to do it one of two different ways. I'm either going to bring my e-bike and ride the whole way back and get closer proximity, hopefully be able to ride on the rail bed itself, or I'll park at the High Bridge, I think it's called the High Bridge Trailhead, which is close proximity, and be able to traverse on foot the rest of the way, which is a much closer starting point than what I did today. I have a lot planned for 2026. If I can fit it in my schedule and I'm feeling the itch to do it, I will. If not, not a big deal, not a deal breaker. I have a lot more adventures planned for the upcoming future. With that being said though, I do hope you at least appreciate the views I was able to give you, showing you the environment, sharing my thoughts along the way, giving you some views of nature, the snow, the trees, parts of the spillway and the reservoir there, and just showing you what it goes through to make some of these adventures. They're not always a home run. Sometimes you get a base hit, sometimes you strike out. I didn't strike out today, but it definitely wasn't a home run. But I am ready to get out of here. It's been a long day. It's getting darker, it's getting colder, and I have more adventures to do. So anyways, I want to thank you so very much for coming along, taking time out of your day to join me as we answered some questions, did some exploring, and got lost in the woods. It's the simplest way to put it. Looking forward to your feedback. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, everyone, I'll see you in the next video. So, what happened? Why did we get so off course? Where did I go wrong, or what went wrong? Well, I could give you an update. After filming that video, which was really frustrating, I felt defeated. I needed to find out what happened. So, with my GPS device, I did do some testing on it. I entered nearby locations, the coordinates, to make sure it's going to show that it's going to take me there, and it did. Right on target. No errors at all. I've used that device also in previous videos and locations. I never had any issues with it. Looking on Google Earth, Google Maps, even Railguide app, that rail line actually looped around part of the reservoir. If we stayed next to the reservoir where we left off from that culvert that went into the reservoir and just kind of followed the bank of the reservoir, we would have ran right into that rail line. If I knew then what I know now, the GPS taking me away from there would have been an instant red flag. I should have known, or I would have known, hey, we don't need to go this way. We're going away from the reservoir, away from the rail line. So the coordinates took me basically the complete opposite direction away. Ended up being over 2 miles away from the actual target. But looking at the coordinates I entered, which were correct, I did re-verify the coordinates were correct that I entered. They were not entered correctly. And I can only chalk it up to user error because it's never happened before. The longitude, latitude, they weren't punched in correctly. So I still don't remember punching them in correctly because I've used it before. But looking at how they were entered, they weren't entered correctly. So obviously, if they're not entered correctly, it's not going to take you to the correct location. I don't know how that happened, why it happened, but it is a learning experience and one that I don't want to make again. This has never happened before. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but people make mistakes. Sometimes technology does glitch out, but the GPS on my phone was correct. The GPS unit itself was working correctly, but it was taking me to coordinates that weren't entered correctly. So hopefully that makes sense. We now know we weren't that far away from it. If we just stayed close to the reservoir, we could have found it, but we may or may not see it again in the future. Time will tell, but hopefully you appreciate the update.